So I am in Kamloops, just got into the airport, and Kamloops, very nice, semi-arid in the middle of Canada. So it looks like a desert, like some of the deserty hills. Wouldn't have expected that. But this weekend is Attack X, and I just got in from the plane, really excited. Let's dive into another tournament report.
The Dark Kid.
Hello and welcome to another tournament report. That was me on a plane going to Kamloops, British Columbia in Canada. And it was going to be a 114-person major event. Trip was really smooth, didn't have any issues on Air Canada. And I showed up at the event on Friday night. There were a few people ready to play some games, so we jumped right into it. So it's here on the Friday night at Attack X. I got to play Devon, who's brought a very TJ Lanigan combined with Jim Vessel style list. But it's his own list, so it's a Devon list.
Just barely.
Just barely. He has his own flavor. Moving into turn 3 right now. It's been back and forth, very, very close. I made him go first. It's a 3-objective mission, so I can sort of control the middle objective right now. But it's really cool. We've got an Apocalypse game going on, and essentially there's all the space to game. So if you come here early, the night before the con, you can actually, the expo, you can kind of play some games. Really excited. Okay, after this, I'm going to go and rest because it's like 10 p.m. at night in Ontario, and I need to sleep. That game was really fun. I ended up winning the game, which was a good sort of like stretch and flexing those dice muscles before the main event. There were some other really cool games going on. Got to see some really cool armies even on the Friday. So, on the Saturday morning, it was tournament day. Woke up early, went down to the event, and it was really cool because Jason from Madhouse Wargaming was staying in the same hotel as me, so we were able to carpool. And it's tournament day here with Jason from Madhouse Wargaming.
What's happening, everybody?
That's right. You excited for the weekend?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Time to throw some dice here.
Time to get this party on the road. There's like a university here where the actual event is, and the conference hall is pretty cool. They've got a bunch of vendors. They got AOS. They have Flames of War here at Attack X. They have a VR thing set up so you can like do some VR stuff, which is pretty fancy.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. All the university kids really enjoyed that. Yesterday. They were like lining up.
They did.
It was great. Oh, good old VR. Other than that, looking forward to it. I think there's almost 120 people signed up. There's 116 or so.
117 was the count.
117. What? Capital City Bloodbath. You got to step up your game.
BC's representing.
That's right.
Getting bigger.
Okay, on to round 1, all that stuff. Let's go into the hole and whatnot. Jumping into the hall. Lots and lots of people. 114 started the event. Val, this is your doing, by the way. And what a cool hobby experience. There were so many really neat armies that have been labors of love. Like really cool conversion work. Great, display boards. So, looking at my first round opponent, was going to be playing Genes of the Occult, Tyranids, and Brood Brothers combination with a Shadow Sword. It was going to be jumping right into the mix. Round 1. And we're here at Attack X, 114 players. Look at that, the hall's full with 40k goodness. I'm playing Steve and his Genes of the Occult, Kraken Stealers, and Brood Brothers. And he decided to go first. It's mission 6. He's basically running G-Stealers in my face, and I've tried to hide as best as I can against that Shadow Sword. Okay, wish me luck, and this is round 1 of Attack X. Playing against a Shadow Sword, I was a little apprehensive in a tank commander, so I picked secondaries like ground control and recon that I knew that didn't require me to kill anything. I played a very defensive game, waiting for him to jump at my army and then able to counterattack with the forces that I had remaining. This is Steve over here, my first round opponent. The drukhari did take the day at the end of the day. So, what was your favorite moment of the game?
The Patriarch, my Warlord, going into the end zone and killing the other Warlord.
Killing my Archon Skari actually died. getting murdered by a patriarch that just like ate his face off. What was the moment in the game where you were like, you felt like it was starting to slip away, like a clutch moment in the game?
Probably once the tank commander died. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my Skurs did like 14 mortal wounds or something crazy, and like just killed him. It was crazy. That wasn't supposed to happen. And who's your MVP this game?
The Shadow Sword. He survived the longest.
He did.
Yeah.
He's nasty with those flamers.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks a lot. Best of luck with the rest of the event. On to round 2. It's always nice at big events to go around and take a look at the really cool looking armies. As I said before, the hobby at this event was very high caliber, and that's probably because there is a spirit of high hobby in this region. Namely, Jim Vessel comes from there, and Alex, and there's some really good hobbyists, and it showed. It really did. So, round 2 ended running into a really cool Morty and Magnus list, which is something I haven't played with my new Dark Eldar list since I started running it. We're here on round 2. I'm playing George and his gorgeous Chaos Death God army. Magnus and Morty look amazing. Do you know that green was painted with blues and yellows? It looks awesome. Look at these conversions. Amazing. So I had a fantastic first turn. I downed Magnus, even though he came right in my face. Morty is down to 9 moves left. Right now, George is basically trying to do a second turn to kind of, help start swinging it back in his favor. But we'll see how it happens after the end of round 2. Playing against Mortarion and Magnus can be very daunting a task. I deployed very defensively, but in this game, the main trick I did was put the objectives, so there's only 3 objectives, basically down the middle line of the table, putting mine close to the middle and then forcing him to put his in the middle of the board. This prevented him from corralling me into a corner with his big heavy-hitting units in a corner, and allowing me to put my heavy-hitting units on the corners, so if he wanted to go for my heavy-hitting units, he had to move away from the objectives. And we're here after round 2. This is my opponent, George. How'd the game go, George Thompson?
I think it went a lot better than I expected.
Okay.
Great game.
So
a clinic.
It was
a clinic.
A clinic. It was okay. Makes sense. Yeah. So the Dark Eldar did win. It was Magnus Morty. So what was your sort of like favorite part of the game?
Oh man, honestly, the favorite part of the game was getting the opportunity to play you.
Thank you. Let me blush.
No, seeing the 2 armies square off, I haven't played drukhari in a long time. It was great to see a full complement of so many different parts. There was nothing spammed about your list.
It was a little bit of everything.
A little of everything. Nice mosaic of the drukhari tapestry.
Okay. What was your MVP?
Oh man, MVP. I wish I could say Magnus or Morty, but they were very disappointing.
They didn't. They sort of didn't make many saves and then just died.
Yeah, they really did.
But I guess that's how this list works. Like when you play big lists, they either go around and murder stuff, or they get murdered.
They get murdered. Yeah. Foul Blight's fun. Never disappoints. Always gets
he's
his points
awesome.
back. He picked up a lot of bodies.
He did.
So I'll give it to him. And then maybe runner-up, one of the Plague Burst crawlers who just would not die.
Yeah, he was just sitting in the middle, living the whole time. Okay, and then what was your TSN turning point where you were like, oh no?
Oh man, that was definitely, I think it was right before the game started. Yeah. No, it was definitely the moment that I whiffed on some really critical physical psychic pace elements in my turn 1.
I think the deny from the Helma Spite on Magnus to stop him from having a 3-up invul, that was huge.
That was it. That was the moment. Put a pin right in it. That was it.
Because then all the stuff that he didn't soak up as much as he could have, and then Morty got some damage taken, and then Morty went down faster than he was, so it was like a snowball effect. My MVP, I want to say, were my Reaver jet bikes. Because they
did exactly what they should have.
They just were in your face from turn 1.
Yeah.
My TSN turning point was using the athletic aerialists.
Yes.
Yeah. So the witches.
Someone's done it.
He lines up, charges Morty, a Demon Prince, and into 5 witches, and then a Demon Prince in a different part of the table.
And that was my butcher's bill right there.
That was the butcher's
That was
bill.
the butcher's bill.
And then I interrupted, attacked with the witches, and used the 2 CP to move away from them towards the venom to just make them not be able to attack anymore.
Denied it all. Denied so many bodies and so many secondary points.
Which was clutch.
Great
Okay.
2 CP.
Thanks a lot for the game. That was fantastic.
Beautiful.
We'll do that awkward handshake and on to round 3.
And round 3 was going to be the end of the game. I had acquired quite a few points. My army had done quite well in the last 2 games, and I was doing an experiment this tournament. I knew there were going to be 3 or 4 undefeated players. Therefore, I needed to go for as many points as possible. So I wasn't holding back. I was getting in the high 30s for ITC scoring, which is very, very good. So of course, round 3 lands me against none other than Jim Vessel. And we get put on a stream table where they got to stream the entire game. Jim Vessel was now playing a cool new style army that had Chaos Knight, the Dorito Dreadnoughts, and the Disco Lords. A very high pressure army, lots of shooting. So I knew it was going to be a tough game.
We're currently streaming, and I'm playing Jim Vessel because Jimbo. And it is his neck of the woods, so amazingly looking. He's got triple Disco Lords, 3 Butcher Cannon guys, a bunch of cultists in the backfield. This is turn 2. It's going into turn 3. It's been absolute slobber knocker. We're just murdering everything, so having a lot of fun.
Playing against Jim was a very cool experience. I've played against him with his Plague Bearer list that took him to the top of the ITC. But this was something different. Something he could play, run up at the enemy, cause a lot of damage, and essentially win the game because of this high pressure army. I had a very simple plan, which was to try and do an alpha strike on him hard enough and not let him essentially kill most of my army. That all changed when he seized the initiative, and I had gambled and put most of my stuff in Deep Strike Reserve. The table was a little sparse of terrain, which didn't allow me to hide as well as I would have hoped, and all the objectives being clustered in the middle of the table made it hard for me to play the mission game, because he could move into the center with his shooting units, and then from there attack any objective that he wanted with that knight and with the Derrideos and with the Disco Lords. It came down to a few things, and Jim took the game with only about 8 points. So let's kind of discuss it, because it could have gone either way, and I'm very happy that I got to play Jim at this high-level competitive event.
And that's game.
I got it. Just barely, though.
It's
It was
fun.
like,
He was up till 4 a.m. last night. It's 8 p.m.
I don't
right
know if you
now.
can tell from my face.
You still kicked my butt. It was a great game, though. Very close, very clutch. And that's the thing about top-level games. Any little thing can just completely flip the game. It wasn't like a dice game. The dice were either on both sides. Strategy-wise, I had a plan that I was executing. You had a plan you were executing. You just executed yours a little bit better. And there was a few things that could have flipped it in either way that didn't.
yeah.
And that's
I mean,
how that goes.
I seized, which was big.
You did. Yeah, that's okay. It
but-
happens.
And I think, like, overall, like, I think the Derrideos, like, they don't actually shoot that much. Like,
Well,
like,
I made sure they
I was
didn't.
gonna say, like, had you not played as well as you did to tag them, it would have been way, like,
Would have been over way
yeah.
quicker. So the C's, I think, was the biggest thing. But using the jet, like, I had to use every tool I had at my disposal to pull it out. I killed all the Disco Lords. I killed all, but basically at the end of the game, you had a
I had 2
wounded
models.
knight, 3 models. Oh, 2 models, yeah.
I
You had
had
a
a
wounded
Derrideo
knight
and a knight.
and a knight. I had a Venom, 2 Mandrakes,
And, like, 5 Cavalites.
my Archon Warlord, 5 Cavalites.
Yeah.
Like
10 models between
we
us
kicked
left.
we kicked
Yeah.
the shit out of each other. But that was a fantastic game. It was streamed on a channel. Death Clock Dave's YouTube channel. So if you want to watch the game, you can. I'll put a link down in the description, and you guys can check that out. Other than that, Jim, best of
Good
luck.
game, as
You've
always.
relegated me to the fun bracket. Fun bracket
Yeah,
for me
it's
now.
always, it's always fun, though.
Yeah, it's
All the
always fun.
brackets.
Yeah. As in, no longer need to like make my brain hurt bracket.
Sweet.
Anyway,
Well, hopefully.
you gonna get some sleep tonight?
I don't think so. I think it's gonna be round 2 tonight. So that's why I brought this list, because it's
Very
it's
easy.
basically
Point and
some
click.
cultists, but actually like 9 models.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to think very much. I just I put everything on the line, and I just push it forward, and then just roll as many dice as I can. It's not very subtle. It's
No.
it's a bit of a
You force your opponent to kind of deal with it.
yeah.
Which is exactly.
Whereas
what
usually I
happens.
play a very reactive list.
Yes.
and a very like meticulous list. This is just like put everything in your face and
Completely different.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's fun. And it's a lot easier to play hungover, which is also good.
Well, Jim Vessel, everybody. Thanks a lot. Best of luck in the
Yeah,
rest of
you
the
too.
event. And let's move on to tomorrow. Round 4.
Round 4.
And 5.
And 5.
Okay. Bye. Okay, so it's the start of round 2 here at Attack X. You can see here it's nice and misty today amongst the mountains of British Columbia. It was a fantastic day yesterday. Attack X has been a very, very fun tournament. It was 114 players for 40k. They also had a very large AOS event. They had an X-Wing. They had a big Magic tournament. They had a lot of role-playing games going on, so it was like an expo, which was really nice. They had lots of vendors and things too. And it has been a fantastic experience. I highly recommend you look at Attack X for an event to attend next year. So it is round 4 of day 2. I did lose against Jim Vessel last night. It was a very, very close game. Could have gone either way. It was on stream, so you can check that out. And this morning I got to play against Tau. A very similar Tau list to what Devon usually plays. So I've got 2 more rounds. Wish me luck. My goal would be to finish 4-1 after that loss against Jim Vessel. And let's see how I place. But other than that, I've been having tons of fun. Everybody's been an absolute hoot to play. And I cannot wait to finish the tournament. Tell you guys all about it. Okay, on to day 2.
And Tau, we've all been there. We have flashbacks to 7th edition, Riptide Wing spam, which was probably one of the nastiest things to play. So I'm playing Garth, and he's playing Tau, not either of the ones that I just pictured, because I totally forgot to take a picture of his army. I had won the roll-off to go first, so I deployed, and you can see deployed aggressively. I still want to get as many points as I can, and having experience against Tau armies like Devon Swan's army, I have a very good idea of how the matchup plays. So, using the mission to my advantage, I jumped right into it.
Okay, here I am on round 4. I'm playing mission 4. So there's 5 objectives, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a 5th one somewhere back there. There's a 5th one. And we are, he's deploying. It is deploy first, go first. So I did choose to deploy first, go first. I deployed very aggressively. After I lost against Jim, I'm taking it a little more easy, like not as seriously now. Just gonna have some fun. So looking forward to that, and I'm really excited about that. Okay, with that, wish me luck.
And he proceeded to seize the initiative on me. Good thing I had tried to hide as much as I could. He immediately cow-yawned, blew up 2 of my Ravagers and almost killed the Venom. So I did get off quite lightly in terms of damage. My return turns were swift. I jumped at him with everything I had because I deployed so close on the line and he deployed close to me. My witches got stuck in pretty much immediately, and a combination of tagging the broadsides, good target priority, and keeping my shooting units alive while sacrificing everything I could to get the bonus point every single turn meant that at the end of the day, I did walk away with a win. It was a 37-25. So he did get a lot of points. However, I was able to come away with that win. And that's the thing about playing against Tau. If you haven't yet, I highly recommend you get a friend to even proxy a Tau army against you, just so you can understand what it feels like to get shot by 1,000,000 strength 6 or strength 7 shots that reroll hits, sometimes reroll wounds, and have all the marker light support in the world. You need to experience it to really understand how much of your army you're going to lose, and get better at declaring charges and knowing how to best charge into the Tau lines in order to not just lose your whole army on Overwatch. So with that first game of day 2 under my belt as a win, I was able to once again go around the hall and take a look at some of the other really neat armies. You know, something that I really liked was how much of a variety there was. Yes, there were Space Marines, and of course we all know how the new Space Marines are doing. With the influence of people like Jim in that local meta, there were definitely a lot of Chaos players. and playing a variety of different styles of lists. There were some Tyranid lists, there were even Sisters of Battle at the event. I saw 2 different lists that had a lot of Sisters of Battle. Admech was very prevalent, as well as Disco Lords. They were absolutely everywhere, and Knights and Helverins. It was definitely a very vehicle-heavy meta, and even some of the new Admech stuff had kind of worked its way in. As I'd mentioned before, the hobby level was fantastic, and you know, Jim in his 4th round had drawn against his opponent, which meant that I was going to be playing the opponent that Jim had played, an Eldar player, and I was really looking forward to that. Looking towards all the lists, you know, it kind of wanted me to ask any of you out there, if you have an army that you love, you know, do you just take it to an event just to play it, or what are your specific goals when you go to an event? Do you show off your cool conversion? Do you show off your prowess with units that are considered quote-unquote non-competitive, or do you like the challenge of taking a list that people don't normally see as good and try to do the best you can with it? Me personally, I like taking things that I enjoy but are hard-hitting and try and do the best with them as well. So, moving into the final round, round 5, Eldar. Let's do this.
It's currently round 5. I'm playing Dave, and he beat Jim Vessel to a draw. So now him and I get to play, because him and Jim drew each other out essentially of the competition. I did get to go first. I killed most of the Shining Spears. He had 7 in them, and it's his first turn movement. He's basically just trying to counter my first turn that happened against him. Okay, moving on. Wish me luck. It's the end of the event. It's been really fun so far.
There we go.
This is my last round opponent, Dave.
Jolly Moore, how's it going?
Not bad. How are you doing?
Well, I just got my butt handed to me.
Well, I did win, but how was your event so far?
Absolutely excellent. I did really well. I tied Jim Vessel, so I can't complain.
I know, you knocked him out of the running to win the race.
Yep.
And I lost, so it was quick retribution. And then as a proper Dark Eldar player, I stabbed you in the back for that.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a pretty rough one.
So what was your favorite moment of our game?
Favorite moment of your game? When I vected you, and when you vected me, then I vected you, and then I rolled a 6. Beautiful.
It was painful. Okay, well, thanks a lot. Did you have fun?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for that. And that is round 5 of Attack X. I believe Alex won with his G-Steel Goblin Tyranids. And congratulations to him. We'll be back with an after-action recap. Okay, have a good trip home.
Thank you very much. You too, sir.
Bye.
And that was that. Another event in the notch of the belt. It was really cool to meet everyone at Attack X, people who came up, said hi, watched the channel. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the support from all the Patreons, from all the people who get swag, from all the people who share the videos, like the videos. It means a lot, and it still humbles me that people actually give a crap about what I do. So thank you very, very much. At the end of the event, you know, looking at the scores, Alex did win, so congratulations to Alex. There were 3 undefeated players, and I came in 5th. So what I found interesting was I had more battle points than anybody else at the event with 175. And thanks to that victory, I have skyrocketed once again to #1 Drukhari, because that, after all, is my goal for this season. The travel and trip back was beautiful. It was really nice to fly over the Rockies and see the snow on the mountains. And even though I felt a little bit sick when I got back. Tim Hortons was my friend. And with that, that is another tournament. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I really appreciate it. Check the links down below. If you'd like to support the channel on Patreon, you can. Thanks to the generous Patreon supporters, I get to do cool trips like this. A huge shout out to all the Attack X staff and allowing me and inviting me to come over to the event to do this for them. Make sure you check out Attack X next year and put it on your tournament rotation. After all, I am Skari, your grateful host, signing off until next time. Skari out. Ah, the Dark Kin.